Pastor Roy Gerhardt from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Well, we're following the life of Jacob, and we're following the story of God's work of transformation in his life. We saw last week that Jacob has taken on an identity that is built on deceit and cheating. He's willing to do anything it takes to get to the top. And so he has lied and cheated and really stolen from his brother and offered that deceit to his father as well. This results in death threats from his brother that force Jacob on the road. And so Jacob hits the road heading back to his parents' home and to some old family members back there. In fact, he's headed for his uncle Laban, his mother's brother. On the way, he has an encounter with God that starts a new journey, a journey of faith in Jacob's life. And up until this point, it doesn't seem as if Jacob has had much interest in what God was doing or God's promises. But now, when God promises to be with him, to bless him, and to bring him back home again, Jacob starts to pay more attention. And that's a great move forward. And it's part of the way in which God is going to really change his whole life. When Jacob arrived in Haran, he met his uncle, he met his cousins, Rachel and Leah, and everything seems to be really very happy. I mean, he is welcomed in as a family member. He almost immediately falls in love with his cousin Rachel. When he asked for the privilege of marrying her, it is welcomed. He offered to work for 7 years to have that privilege, and he is affirmed immediately by his uncle Laban. Now, the only problem is that when the wedding day comes, he is deceived by his uncle Laban. He gets a taste of his own medicine, in fact, because Uncle Laban substituted Leah for Rachel. And so Jacob ended up in this deceit marrying Leah and doesn't realize it until the next morning. You may be tempted to say, well, there you go. Finally, Jacob is getting a little bit of what he deserves after having deceived his father in a very similar way. But I got to say, these girls don't deserve this. Leah and Rachel, the children that they will bear in this marriage, they don't deserve this. This decision of Uncle Laban is going to have repercussions, as all selfish decisions do. But when we think about Jacob and his life, you may think that it's enough for him to have this moment where he gets someone dealing him a dose of his own medicine, where he's kind of met his match in a man who is at least equally deceptive and even more powerful in his ability to maneuver the situation and take advantage of Jacob. But that's not all that God is interested in. God's not just interested in bringing punishment or retribution on people. God is reaching out to Jacob, hoping to bring a transformation to his life. This is the thing that Jesus died for. I mean, Jesus didn't die for us to have some superficial makeover in our lives, where we might break a few bad habits, become a little nicer person, and go to church more often. No, God is interested in so much more. And what God is reaching for in Jacob is much more than a moment to kind of slap him down and punish him. And definitely more than just to reform a few of his bad habits and to say, you need to never do that particular thing again. What God is ultimately doing in Jacob's life is bringing him to a point where he can shake him to the core, where God can get right down to the very foundation of Jacob's identity and transform him from the ground up, so that Jacob could become a new man and his actions would follow. His life would be changed, and he would really be moved forward in a way that we could rejoice over and that we could take inspiration from for the work of God and his grace that changes our lives. God's reaching for you to get a hold of you right there at the bedrock of your life, to build from the ground up a new person. May God bless you today. And as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.